Good morning, boys. Welcome back. Let us continue to learn the lesson I am Malala from your English literature reader. Turn to page number 49. I am here to stand up for their rights, to raise their voice. It is not the time to pity them. It is time to take action so it becomes the last time that we see a child deprived of education. After dedicating the award, she says that from now on she will fight for the rights of the children. She also reminds that it's not the time to pity them, but to take action so that no child should be deprived of their education. I have found out that people described me in many ways. Some people call me the girl who was shot by the Taliban, and some the girl who fought for her rights. Some people called me a Nobel laureate. However, my brothers still call me that annoying bossy sister. As far as I know, I am just a committed, even stubborn person who wants to see every child getting quality education, who wants to see women have equal rights, and who wants peace in every corner of the world. She continues that she was described in many ways. She was called a girl who was shot by Taliban, a fundamental political movement opposed to girls' education. Now, people also call her a Nobel laureate. Her brothers call her a boss's sister. She sums up to say that she is a person who wants to see every child getting equal rights and educated, women getting equal rights, and want peace everywhere. Education is one of the blessings of life and one of its necessities. That has been my experience during the 17 years of my life. In my paradise home, Swat, I always loved learning and discovering new things. I remember when my friends and I would decorate our hands with henna. And instead of drawing flowers and patterns, we would paint our hands with mathematical formulas and equations. She says education is a blessing of life. She recollects that at Swat, her paradise home, she always tried to discover new things. She and her friends painted their hands with henna, and they drew mathematical formulas and equations instead of patterns on their hands. We had a thirst for education because our future was right there in the classroom. We would sit and learn and read together. We loved to wear neat and tidy school uniforms, and we would sit there with big dreams in our eyes. We wanted to make our parents proud and prove that we could also excel in our studies and achieve those goals which some people think only boys can. She remembers her school days, her classroom, and also says that they had thirst for education and dreamt of very big about their future to make their parents proud and to achieve their goals. But things changed. Swat, a place of tourism and beauty, suddenly changed into a place of terrorism. I was just 10 when more than 400 schools were destroyed. Women were flogged. People were killed. Education went from being a right to being a crime. Girls were stopped from going to school. When my world suddenly changed, my priorities changed too. She says Swat changed from place of tourism to place of terrorism. Women were beaten, people were killed, and 400 schools destroyed. Now education has become crime there. Girls were not allowed to go to schools, and suddenly everything changed for her. I had two options. One was to remain silent and wait to be killed, and the second was to speak up and then be killed. I chose the second one. I decided to speak up. She only had two options. One, to remain silent and get killed. Second, to speak out and get killed. So, she chose the second one. We couldn't just stand by and see those injustices of the terrorists denying our rights, ruthlessly killing people, and misusing the name of Islam. We decided to raise our voice and tell them, have you not learned that in the Holy Quran, Allah says, if you kill one person, it is as if you kill the whole community. And do you not know that the very first word of the Holy Quran is the word Iqra, which means read? She couldn't take the injustices on women, denying their rights, killing them. And she also says that she wants to remind those who are against the rights of women and children. She wants to remind them that in Holy Quran, God said that if one person is killed, it is as if whole humanity is killed. She wants to remind them that the first word in Holy Quran is to read. The terrorists tried to stop us and attacked me and my friends on our school bus in 2012, but neither their ideas nor their bullets could win. We survived, and since that day, our voices have grown louder and louder. I tell my story not because it is unique, but because it is not. In 2012, they were attacked, but they survived and become more vocal. Today, it is the story of many girls. Today, I tell their stories too. I've brought some of my sisters from Pakistan, from Nigeria, and from Syria who shared this story. My brave sisters, Shazia and Kainat, who were also shot that day on our school bus, but they have not stopped learning. And my brave sister Kainat Sumru, who went through severe abuse and extreme violence but refused to succumb. Today she tells a story in which so many other girls are included. Some are from Pakistan, Nigeria, Syria, who shared the same story. She names a few of her friends who faced abuse and violence but did not give up. Also my sisters here, whom I have met during my Malala Fund campaign. My 16 years old courageous sister, Mizan from Syria, who now lives in Jordan as a refugee and goes from tent to tent encouraging girls and boys to learn. And my sister Amina from Nigeria, where Boko Haram threatens and stops girls just for wanting to go to school. She met few children during Malala Fund campaign who was from Syria and she also goes to each tent to encourage children to learn. In Nigeria, Boko Haram, a militant group in Nigeria, never allowed girls to go to school. Though I appear as one girl, I am not a lone voice. I am many. I am Malala, but I am also Shazia. I am Kainat. I am Kainat Sumru. I am Mizan. I am Amina. I am those 66 million girls who were deprived of education. And today, I am not raising my voice. It is the voice of those 66 million people. At the end of her Nobel lecture, she says that even though she is one girl, she is supported by many. She also further says that she is those million girls' aspirations who are deprived of their education. and she's raising the voice on behalf of them. Thank you, boys.